A host book is a useful way to keep track of entertaining ideas. I use mine to record details of all kinds of events. Who came to dinner, what I served, what I prepared, did they like this, how I set the table. I'm so happy to have Beverley Rellin, an expert bookmaker, join us today. And you're the best, so I want you to show us the tricks of the trade.
Hi, Nick. I have a nice project for you today for a host book. It's a very simple little project that can be done within an hour with relatively little money spent.
Oh, great.
We'll start with making the text of the book. Shall we start there?
Yep, you bet.
I've used Stonehenge Rising here. It's a good watercolor paper. It's a hot press so that it actually takes a nib of a felt pen or a pen really quite nicely.
So you measured your paper.
I did.
I guess it depends on the number of sheets. You could put so many sheets of paper in.
As many as you want, yes.
And then you've punched the holes in, which I guess we'll later use to bind.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you've cut this perfect paper. And now what? Now what's next?
What we need to do now is do a covering for it. Again, you're going to go and find an interesting paper that you like to work with. It lands up being touched actually quite a bit, so make it tactile and interesting. A lot of papers can be found in good shops now, much more variety than were ever available, a lot of nice colors that you can work with, and I chose this one to work with today.
It's matching your hair.
That's what it was, exactly.
Good stuff.
So with this, you really want to just do it to size. So I'm going to use one of the pages as a template or as a pattern.
Yep.
It's easy enough to do. I've got a nice deckle happening with this edge as well, and I'm going to use it in this book. So we're just going to measure off using a good ruler, a metal ruler preferably. That way you don't cut anything but the paper. And then set it up, take your template away, use your knife, and just cut it in. There.
Quick, look at that.
And nice and clean. Always work with a good sharp edge. That way you don't hurt yourself and you never have to go back. Now here too, again, we're just going to reposition the book into its final position. But I do need a bit of a binding. So we're going to add an inch onto this side so we can fold it back.
Aha.
So maybe put it there. Want to do it?
Are you kidding? Absolutely. I want to see how this paper is to work with. I figure it's probably going to be pretty tough. Actually, it's not. I thought it was going to be a big deal. This is easy.
No, it's really easy, especially if you have a nice sharp blade. It makes all the difference. So from here now, we have this end bit that's sticking out. We're going to reposition our paper again. It's now our final position. Thank you. And here at this point, all we need to do is just give it a good score. Now, I have a scoring tool that I use, but a good butter knife will work as well, because you're just scoring it. You're not hurting it. So this is our front cover, and there we are. We're folded over so that when we do put it down, it's got a nice base to it. We're going to use our template now to find the holes that we need.
Hey, don't you hold that?
Sure, that would be great. It is really easier sometimes to do this with two people. Now, with a lot of handheld punches, you may find that you have to come back on it.
In the other direction, I see what you're doing.
Just because it's the paper is a little bit thick, and that's all we're really concerned about.
Amazing.
Just like that. Now there's another part to this book, Nick, that can be really quite nice, and that's called a fly sheet. And here you can go and find an interesting piece of paper to just use as an opening.
And there's all this wonderful flower in this paper.
And again, there's some beautiful papers coming from around the world that you can now pick up really quite inexpensively.
The fly sheet and then the rest of the pages.
And then the rest of the pages.
Oh, it's so lovely.
It makes it so easy and so very simple. So we can put it all together in a block. A good bulldog clip is always a best friend. I've already cut two of these because we need a front and we need a back cover. And if you want to, some people don't like it, but I do, you can make one more score where it is that you've folded just to make it a little bit easier. So we've got our text base, we have our covers, and what I'd like to show you this afternoon is something called a Chicago bolt. Any bolt will work, but Chicago bolts are nice. They fold into themselves. So with this, we pick our side, put it through. It's a great little bolt you can pick up at any hardware store, and here you can turn and it screws right into itself.
You know, this is a great invention, right? Whoever thought of this is probably your new best friend.
My new best friend, really. Oh. It's such an easy way to turn and do a finished book with no time at all. And again, we'll just slip that little screw in there.
Wow.
And there you are.
That's
You're
perfect.
done. A nice little book.
Now, you brought on another sample which has this twig in it.
All kinds of different ways to sew a book together. In this particular case, we've just taken it, threaded through 2 ends of a ribbon to come out,
Yep.
tied it, put a little stick in. This is a magnolia stick from my garden, and then tie it off, and it's ready and set to go.
And I mean, a demi-tasse spoon or something, the wheel's already turning. And this is for me, I love it.
No, I'm afraid not, Nick. This one's actually coming home with me.
okay.
Sorry about that. But I did make you one for yourself, and here it is.
Oh, you're kidding.
Now, it has an S and an F just for Savoir Faire.
Oh.
I hope you enjoy.
I definitely will, and I'm going to reserve the first page for the evening when you come for dinner so I can thank you for joining us.
You're on.
Good
I'd love to
stuff.
come.
Thanks so much.